And I'm Denise.
And welcome back to our first edition for 2021 of Urban Lifestyle.
Yes.
So I guess we should say Happy New Year.
And an anniversary of the show.
And you are correct, because we are celebrating starting our 13th year, and we couldn't have gotten here without your help. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoying what we present to you, covering what's in the community that you normally wouldn't see.
And we couldn't have gotten here without some of our key sponsors, which are MSD, LG&E, Louisville Water Company, and B96 and 101.3. So our hats go off to them. You support them because they support us.
Yes.
And one of the first segments we're going to be talking about for the new year is a segment that we did with MSD. And this segment, we had an opportunity to talk with one of their featured employees, who is Kelly Watson. So, Kelly, how are you?
Kelly, this is a new position, so please explain to us what it is that you do.
This position is a new position, and I've been at MSD for about 9 months now. And the position is the Equity and Compliance Officer. So what I do is provide the strategic and visionary work that we want to do in equity internally and some things externally as well. And I also do compliance. So I work with employees on employee issues and investigations and ethical issues as well.
So how do you approach developing equity plans for the utility?
So there are best practice would tell you that to internalize equity, you want to make it part of the everyday work. You want to embed it into the processes, into the procedures, into the rules that are within the organization, and also into the workforce and to the people. And so to do that, you kind of categorize those things into three things. You normalize, which is the training. You make sure that we all have shared definitions, we have a shared vision, and we all are valuing equity. Some of that training will include implicit bias training, cultural competency training, and things around that. Next, after you normalize, you will then organize. And so that's how you then begin to embed equity into the internal rules and procedures and operations and practices. And the way you do that is you begin to formalize that structure into the workplace. The first thing MSD did to do that was create this position and fill it so that you have someone full-time doing and focused on equity work that can work across the organization and through the organization. One of the other ways that we're doing that is we've built a core team of individuals who I work with that are helping me to provide the training and the type of assessments that we'll need around equity within the organization. And the third thing you do is operationalize, which means that's when you actually start to look at your numbers and your data, and then you work those practices into what you're doing with the equity lens. And for us, we'll create a toolkit that will allow us to begin to do that.
So Kelly, what advice do you have for other utilities that want to take action on racial equality internally?
Well, I think first of all, all utilities have to realize that you're a vital part of the community that you're in. And to be a good contributor to the community and a good neighbor, you really need to be involved with ensuring that you're providing those services in an equitable way.
But Kelly, what are the barriers to addressing equity internally?
Yes, there are always barriers in dealing with this. And as we realized throughout the city and within the country over the last few months, that for a lot of people, equity and discrimination and the systematic issues that have been within society for a while have not been at the forefront. We've been extremely polite and not bringing those things up and just kind of working around them and assuming that we're all in the same space, living and sharing the same experiences. And that is not accurate. We know that Black people and brown people have different experiences. And the first thing that you'll need to do, in my mind, to kind of break through that internally is to connect with each other, to listen to each other, and to share those experiences. We've done that here at MSD by having courageous conversations.
And finally, what else needs to change from your organization to uphold racial equality, equity, and principles?
Well, I think what we will need to do here at MSD is, like I said, we're just beginning this journey. And to do that, we really need to try to touch more employees and inform them about what we're doing, what the equity lens looks like, and how we would need to change our work in order to do that. And so that's the main thing, is really getting to all of our employees so that we all can have that shared experience and vision of what we're trying to do within MSD and within the community.
Well, you know, as always, when we talk with them, we get just flooded with great information.
And they are always in, I would say, the loop, if you will, being forward thinkers and innovators and implementing what needs to be done.
You are correct. And Kelly, thanks again for your time. We'll take a break and back with more right after this.
When it comes to COVID-19, this sister is putting our community to the test by sharing the pride, working for peace, acting for prevention. Thank you, Sadiqa Reynolds. That's love for our people. Hashtag YVPRC.
You know, when you look at 2020, it was really dominated by three key events that happened.
Yes.
And one of those was Black Lives Matter. And Louisville was really a part of the epicenter when we look at what happened with Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, and I was surprised how it went globally, but there was much significance to it, and there was a cry out for it. And I'm sorry that it had to happen, but you know, sometimes these movements come about from such tragedies.
Yeah, you are correct. And, you know, a lot of momentum was built in 2020, and the key is to sustain that in 2021. And that's the only way that we're going to see change come about.
Absolutely. And I mean, I would say the temperature and the pulse of the country is showing itself evident right now.
You are correct. And we're going to take another break and back with more right after this.
My name is Michelle Jones, and I'm in customer care. I've been with the organization since August, so August the 4th will be my anniversary. Well, Drops of Kindness is a Louisville Water Company's version of being, or another version of being, socially responsible. It's serving the community. Right now, everyone is suffering through the virus, through economic issues, not being able to pay their bills on time. Everybody is getting behind, even customers that previously always made their payments on time. So Drops of Kindness is us being socially responsible, offering some options, and the options being a pay plan, so that this is uniquely customized by the customer. They're telling us when they can pay and how much they can pay. I mean, it's structured weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly payment plan, but it's given them the opportunity to consider everything else that they have going on, their rent, their other bills, even their current water bill, but it gives them the opportunity to get caught up. Well, the responses are quite favorable because they're in trouble. They know that they have this high water bill that's looming over their head, and they're concerned about keeping their water. So they're quite favorable. We've sent out communications, and we've got some information out in media. So they're reaching out to us, and we're reaching out to them. And they like it. They like being able to have a plan so that they can pay their bills, because they want to pay their bills. They just, right now, with people not working, with the cost of products being more, it's difficult for them. So they're anxious to pay their bills, and they're excited that we have a plan for them. For me, it's rewarding because I am customer service. It's what I do. I'm not in customer service by accident. So to be able to talk to people in good times, and it's happy, it smiles, that's good. But even when they're in the worst time of their life, I do find it rewarding to be able to meet them there, to speak to them at their level, to offer some solutions. So it's rewarding for me, because these are times when your customer service chops are put to test. So if someone wants to take advantage of or to learn more about acts of kindness, they just need to give us a call here in customer care, and we will work with them. It sometimes turns out to be a long call because we need them to look at the calendar and work with their budget, because it's important that they don't just select a random amount. It needs to fit in their budget so that they can be successful. So it's just a telephone call.
My
We are very proud of the drinking water at Louisville Water. We have named it Louisville Pure Tap, so we're really proud of the quality of the water that we bring to you. It's safe.
Well, you know, as we get older, we get wiser, and a company, an organization that's been out in front in terms of helping us to age, I guess, more gracefully is AARP. And we got an opportunity to catch up with one of their super volunteers, Deborah Turner. So, Deborah, tell us about your role at AARP.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Deborah Turner, and I am a volunteer for AARP Kentucky, and I also serve as a volunteer at the national level as well.
So, Deborah, why is AARP working to provide family caregiving services?
AARP has recognized for years that there is an important caregiving role that goes on for each of us. It's the most important thing we're probably ever going to do is care for our loved ones, our friends, and our neighbors. And AARP was fortunate to be founded by Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus in 1958. And she had retired from being an educator to take care of her mother, who was ill at the time. And when she created AARP, that meant that caregiving was a big part of the DNA of AARP. So that 42 million people that are out there who are serving as family caregivers, about 640,000 of those are in Kentucky.
So, Deborah, is there a cost for the information, and is caregiving information a free service?
It's one of the really nice advantages of AARP is the fact that for caregiving resources, there is no cost to an individual. We recognize that it's important that people have the information they need to be able to live their best lives and to take care of those people who are important to them. So AARP.org/caregiving is a total resource that is available to people who are for free at no cost. You don't have to be a member, but you can find out all types of information that are just so important to be able to do what you want with people who need your help.
So, Deborah, where can viewers find more information on caregiving?
We've got a URL that is aarp.org/caregiving. And if you go to that website, you're going to find things like recordings that will help you understand some of the jargon that you might encounter when you're dealing with the medical or other formal care professionals. You're going to find out information about Kentucky, where we approved in 2017 the Family Caregivers Act, and that went into effect in June of that year. And that means that a person going into the hospital can designate someone to be notified when they are going to be leaving the hospital, and that person then can be trained by the hospital to give the medicine that is necessary to provide the injections, and the person doesn't have to be released just to a home without any help and without any support. And that's a big deal for those of us who have to take care of people that we love.
And Deborah, the final question that I have is, during this pandemic, families have just been separated. So what kind of services does AARP have to help people during this pandemic in terms of staying connected?
Absolutely. There's another website that we can go to, and that is aarpcommunityconnections.org. And that's a / friendly -voices and /. Or you can just stop at aarpcommunityconnections.org /. And that will get you to a site that allows you to set up a call from someone, a trained volunteer, who will be able to call every day if necessary to just relieve some of the loneliness from one of your loved ones who might need a call, just someone to check in. And that's the Friendly Voice program. Also on that website, there is information about how to get involved in caregiving.
Well, as always, Deborah, thanks for connecting with us. We really appreciate you and everything that AARP does. You know, that's definitely in our wheelhouse. I never thought I'd hear me saying those words. You know, we are AARP.
Yeah, when you turn 50, you're AARP.
But we've turned over 50, so we are AARPPP, I think now, right?
I was just like, joining AARP was a badge of honor for me once I turned 50. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And so there are a lot of great things out there. And if you want to find out more information, make sure you go to their website. Mm-hmm. We'll take another break and back with more.
Hey. Hi. It's time to crack an egg.
Easy, any style egg works here.
Or smile.
Well done. This looks great.
Time to share a story.
I have a great way to start our discussion.
With old friends or new ones.
When you're a caregiver.
Time to breathe in.
Inhale up. Good job.
Then let it all out. It's never been easier to connect, learn, and have fun.
Cheers.
So let's do it together. Come find us at aarp.org/near you.
We are mothers,
fathers,
neighbors, and friends.
Working hard when the weather is good.
And even harder when it's not.
With online updates to keep you safe and informed during the storm.
Programs to save you energy and money.
And new projects to help us provide cleaner, more reliable energy.
We're more than an energy company.
We are LG&E.
We're LG&E.
We are LG&E.
Our energies go to serving.
What's good? B96.5. Your man Nick Cannon is in the building and we taking over. We gonna be wilding every morning. About to have some fun, y'all. Let's go up.
Locking in to the Nick Cannon Morning Show, 6 to 10 on B96.5.
So we're back, and another topic that dominated the news in 2020 was the pandemic, and the pandemic literally changed everybody's world forever.
It did. Not only here in the U.S., it's global.
You are correct.
It's everywhere. It just had proportions, enormous proportions, that the impact. And it just reminded me something that you would see in the movies. It reminded me something that's of biblical implications of plagues and time to come and to be, and you know, the mindset and the thinking around being compliant and a stubborn, resistant spirit into helping yourself.
Yeah, it's
it was a lot.
A lot was going on,
and then the deaths. Yeah, I'm sorry about the deaths.
Close to 400,000, and now we have the choice, and that is which vaccine do you take? Now, you being a former pharmaceutical salesperson, what are the two that are out there?
Well, I mean, they're both are great. Now, you had Pfizer, and then there's Moderna.
Right.
At first, Moderna showed an efficacy around in the 70-something%. But then, you know, when you have a clinical study, you look at the arm of the study, and then you have more participants and, you know, people in it. And then, therefore, you can get greater and higher numbers. The more people you test, you know, the greater the outcome.
Yeah. So now we have those two things to look forward to. So, and we're getting close to that. They're coming around to our age group.
Yes.
And are you going to take the shot?
I am.
I am too.
I'm going. I do a pneumonia vaccine. I do a flu vaccine. So I want to take all the help I can get so I can be as best healthy as I can be.
And on that note, we'll take another break and back with more.
We are mothers,
fathers,
neighbors, and friends.
Working hard when the weather is good.
And even harder when it's not.
With online updates to keep you safe and informed during the storm.
Programs to save you energy and money.
And new projects to help us provide cleaner, more reliable energy.
We're more than an energy company.
We are LG&E.
We're LG&E.
We are LG&E.
Our energies go to serving.
Well, it wouldn't be winter if we weren't talking about LG&E. And
yes.
Again, one of our great partners, and we're happy to kick off the year with another segment with Energy Matters with LG&E. So, Natasha, first of all, Happy New Year. And with the cold temperatures and winter settling in, People are seeing a lot of frigid conditions on their energy bills, and I know that LG&E has some information that's going to be helpful to those people and some tips and programs. So what can they do to stay warm?
Happy New Year to you, Max. It's good to be with you. You know, you are right. We have been seeing a cold winter so far. We know that December of 2020 was about 21% colder than December of 2019. And so far, the first 10 days of January 2021 have been about 51% colder than January of 2019. So we've been seeing those more frigid temperatures. Our systems have been working harder to keep us warm and comfortable in our homes. And we've certainly seen the result of those colder temperatures and that harder work from our furnaces.
So Natasha, that's great information. So can you talk about that a little bit more in detail, because it's great information so we can understand how our heating system actually works.
Sure. Well, our furnaces are constantly working to maintain that warmer temperature that we have our thermostat set at. So whether the furnace is pulling in air from outside or essentially recycling some of the air from inside our homes, it's constantly kicking on, constantly working to keep that warmer temperature. And, you know, with the cold and colder temperatures that we experience during winter, it continues to kick on, continues to try to heat up that air. That means it's using more energy, and that again is what we see reflected in our bill.
Okay, so Natasha, this is the big question. What can we do to try to keep our energy usage and also our bills down during this and stay warm?
Absolutely, Max. We all want to be warm and as comfortable as possible in our homes. So I do have 5 tips for you. And tip number 1 is to make sure that your furnace is operating efficiently. So as part of that, make sure that it's checked out by a certified professional, that it's tuned up, and make sure that you're changing your furnace filter either according to the manufacturer's instructions, or if you don't have those, changing it monthly will help keep your furnace in tip-top shape. Tip number 2 is to unblock your registers. So if your furniture, like a desk or a sofa or something like that, perhaps is blocking a vent, then it is blocking the ability for that warm air that your furnace is heating up to circulate freely throughout your home and keep it warm. So make sure that you unblock your register. Tip number 3 is to adjust your thermostat. If you have a programmable thermostat, or you can consider getting one, that's a good way to make sure that you're adjusting your thermostat appropriately. But ultimately, the idea is to consider the schedules of those in your home and adjust your thermostat accordingly. For instance, if you plan on being away from home for 4 hours or more, then you can spare a few degrees on your thermostat so your furnace isn't working overtime while you're gone to heat your home. A lot of times with 2020 and 2021, schedules have been different, whether it's working from home or perhaps doing remote school from home. So, consider all of those schedules. But if you can spare a few degrees ultimately and adjust your thermostat, then you can keep your furnace from working hard and using as much energy as it might otherwise. Tip number 4 is to make sure that you open your blinds and curtains. When we do that, it helps the sun to naturally heat our home, which means that it keeps the temperature a little higher so your furnace doesn't have to work as hard. And the final tip number 5, is to layer up. If we put on some thick socks, perhaps a sweatshirt over our PJs, and then an extra blanket on the bed, that helps us just to stay warmer. So again, ultimately, we don't have to crank up the furnace as high. It doesn't have to use as much energy, which means we won't see that same impact reflected on our bill.
So if someone does expect that they're going to have difficulty in terms of like paying their bills, what can they do? And is there any help that LG&E can provide?
Well, we encourage customers who anticipate having difficulty managing their bill to give us a call and reach out to us. For LG&E customers, you can call us at 502-589-1444. You can also check out the resources that we have online. Our website is lge-ku.com. Now, some of those resources include our heating assistance program for LG&E, that is Community Winter Help. It is a heating assistance program that's run by an area nonprofit and helps to make funds available for customers who are having difficulty paying their heating bill, and the utility actually matches donations to that program. We also have a budget payment plan, which in a nutshell takes some of the volatility associated with the weather and the impacts you can see on your bill. It removes some of that by just balancing out a customer's bill and making it an average amount over a period of 12 months based on your previous usage. So we've got full details on that program on our website, again, lge-ku.com. And then for customers, we also recommend that they check out our Helping You webpage. That webpage, which you can access by going to our website, just has full details on things I mentioned, but also additional community resources that can be accessed.
Well, Natasha, looking forward to spending more time with you in 2021. And that's some great information and great to see you. And again, thanks for keeping us up to date and for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, we always appreciate that partnership and the things that they bring to the table.
I do. I learned something valuable every time. So thank you.
Yeah. We'll take another break and back with more.
When it comes to COVID-19, this sister is putting our community to the test by sharing the pride, working for peace, acting for prevention. Thank you, Sadiqa Reynolds. That's love for our people. #YBPRC.
So as we said, in 2020, there were 3 stories that dominated the news. We had Black Lives Matter, we had the pandemic, and we cannot forget the 2020 election.
Yes.
It really was a divisive issue.
Yeah, it was. It revealed a lot. There was a lot of, I think, latent racism.
Yes.
And it just revealed itself. Just the mindset and the spirit of people who felt, to me, my read on it, that under an administration from the top, because leaders gave not even a dog whistle anymore. It was just outright saying, let's just be blatant and bold about it.
Right. So we have a new administration that's coming in. So congratulations to Biden and Harris. And hopefully they can be the uniters that we hope that they can be and get our country back on track.
Yeah, I look at, a lot of the races and, of course, our ties in Georgia.
Sure.
But I feel the guy didn't have Stacey Abrams to win that race for governor because he had something else better in mind for her, which she proved to be even a more powerhouse engine to get wider, things done, which was for a better outcome.
You are correct. And as I said at the top of the show, we wish everybody Happy New Year, and hopefully you didn't make any New Year's resolutions that you've already broken.
That's all it goes with it.
At
least, if you had the desire, that's what counts.
Right. And we're going to end up today's show with a look back at some of the features that we covered during 2020. You know what? I think that's our show.
And that's our time.
And we'll see you back here next time on Urban Lifestyles.
Bye.
Bye-bye.